What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $600 second stimulus check update and your $2,000 third stimulus check update. In this video, we're going to hear new updates on the third stimulus check package from the White House press secretary and from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. And new presidential executive orders were just passed that may affect you. I will be giving you all the details of it in this video. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new video updates on the third stimulus check package and other buckets of money, such as mortgage and rental assistance. And give this video a like, it really helps out our channel. All right, first up, let's go and listen to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on the next stimulus check package. This is from today.
Briefing. I also shared some of the engagement and outreach the White House is doing to move forward the American Rescue Plan. From the President and the Vice President on down, that work has continued and accelerated. Yesterday, senior staff spoke again to governors about the challenges they are facing and the importance of relief. Today, National Economic Council Deputy Director David Kamen will meet with the Council of State Governments. The Office of Public Engagement will also brief Black civic groups, anti-hunger and nutrition advocates, and key progressive groups and invite their feedback. These conversations are, of course, critical to building support and moving the president's bill forward. But we also saw evidence this week that the American people overwhelmingly want their elected leaders to work with the president to confront the pandemic and put people back to work. According to a Monmouth poll released Wednesday, 71% of the American people want Republicans in Congress to work with President Biden. That number is up nearly 10 points from right after the election, meaning the trend of support for working in a bipartisan manner with the president is only growing. Finally, the president is committed to getting relief to working families. Hence, he is also meeting this morning with his members of his economic team, with the Vice President and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen for a briefing on the cost of inaction and the impact of a delay in moving forward with a relief package. Millions of Americans don't have enough food to eat, and millions more have lost their jobs. But interest rates are at historic lows, and that means it's the right time to make smart investments. Moody's, a Wall Street firm, has said that we could end up with 4 million fewer jobs this year if we don't act on the president's plan. That's 4 million Americans who could get back to work. And I'm sure they will discuss all of that at their briefing later this morning. Last thing, we are venturing to provide a week ahead to all of you, or return to providing a week ahead to all of you. So a quick preview. Next Monday, the president will meet with the Secretary of State at the State Department. On Tuesday, President Biden will deliver remarks and sign an executive order advancing his priority to modernize our immigration system. And Friday is, of course, Jobs Day, and the president will deliver remarks about the economy. We'll have hopefully more over the next couple of days, but we wanted to provide as many details as we could. With that, Zeke, why don't you kick us off?
Dr. Fauci says the U.S. may not be able to meet that goal of reopening most K-8 schools in 100 days because of the trajectory of the pandemic. Given that, is the president going to adjust his goal of trying to get all these schools reopened in 100 days?
Well, as we talked about a little bit yesterday, the president wants to not only reopen schools, he wants the schools to stay open, but he does rely on the guidance of his health and medical experts. And obviously, he's not going to do anything that is not safe and doesn't keep teachers, students, and our school districts safe. But a key part of this is the guidelines, as we mentioned, the executive order he signed to ensure that school districts are getting the information they need and clarity they need on what steps that they should take to keep their students safe and teachers safe, of course. But it is also funding, and we've talked about this quite a bit in here. And the American Rescue Plan is pivotal for a number of reasons, including ensuring that Americans have food on the table, including that we can get shots into the arms of people across the country, but also that school districts, especially public schools, have the funding they need to take steps on everything from ventilation to PPE to testing. And the longer that's delayed, the harder it's going to be to meet that goal.
Got it. And has President Biden spoken to former President Trump since taking office? And if so, can you give us any update on what President Trump said in his letter to President Biden?
I don't have any update. I don't have any calls to report on. There are no calls to report on, I should say, and I don't have any update on the letter. And as I said when we talked about this about a week and a half ago, it seems longer than that, I'm going to acknowledge. The president, of course, thought the letter was gracious and generous, but he plans to keep it private.
Right there, she's talking about the letter that goes from president to president when a new president takes over. So that would have been the letter that President Donald Trump left for new President Joe Biden on the desk or in the drawer of the Oval Office. We made a joke about it in this on this channel that the letter simply said from President Donald Trump, "Joe, you know I won." I seen that on Facebook and I couldn't help but laugh about that because that is something that exactly President Donald Trump would say. I think whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you can probably agree with that. That is the type of letter that President Donald Trump would give to Joe Biden. Let's go back to the interview.
And so he would encourage Americans to get any vaccine that is approved by the FDA for emergency use authorization?
Well, again, we're not going to get ahead of the FDA. I'm not suggesting you're asking that, but we'll rely on our health and medical experts to advise if there are additional vaccines, if and when, I'll be optimistic, that are approved by the FDA and how that will impact our vaccine distribution plan.
And secondly, on the coronavirus relief bill, in his first month in office, President Obama traveled to a number of key states to drum up support for the Recovery Act. Does President Biden have any plans to do something similar to drum up support for his $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill?
Well, then Vice President Biden also traveled to a number of states to drum up support for the American Recovery Act at the time. And obviously we weren't dealing with a pandemic, so the circumstances were quite different. But he fully recognizes, as do we, the importance of speaking directly to the American people about the components of this package, whether it's the importance of funding to get schools open or get vaccines in the arms of Americans, or just ensure that people know they can put food on the table. And so we're having to take a number of creative steps to do that, whether that's direct television or local media, or from the president, the vice president, and others. We're doing that, whether it is engaging with governors and local elected officials to ensure that we're answering all of the questions they have and that they can convey to the public. So we're taking a number of creative steps, a little outside of the box. Certainly his preference would be to get on a plane and fly around the country, but that's not the step we're planning currently.
As a candidate, President Biden did travel a fair amount, especially in the final weeks of the campaign. He's now received both doses of the vaccine, and a number of safety precautions are in place and could be in place for his travel. So why wouldn't he be traveling, or is that something?
Well, it's also about keeping the public safe, and we're not going to do a rally with 20,000 people. That wouldn't be a recommendation made by our health and medical experts.
Right, but there wouldn't be any plans to travel without a crowd and to go out into the country?
We may travel, certainly, but I have nothing to preview for you at this point in time. What I'm conveying is that it is vital for the president and the vice president and every member of our team to be speaking directly to the American people. And so we're looking for creative ways to do that.
On new presidential executive orders, President Biden passed a new executive order reinstating Obamacare and opening enrollment again for Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, including a new special enrollment period that will start here shortly within the next few days. President Biden is also undoing restrictions that was put in place by President Donald Trump. Most notably, President Donald Trump allowed state governments to set their own rules, like requiring somebody to have a job in order to qualify for Medicaid. That is now being undone. Also, I want to give a quick update in case, just so I don't forget, that the second stimulus checks are still going out right now. Literally, people are receiving them today and yesterday, and we'll be receiving them tomorrow. Let me know down below in the comments if you still haven't received your second stimulus check, and make sure you are checking the mail, because even if you are on direct deposit, the Treasury Department could send you a stimulus check in the mail or a stimulus debit card in the mail. People are literally getting them right now. A lot of people have had their IRS Get My Payment tool updated, so if you haven't checked that recently, you might want to check that after this video. Just Google IRS Get My Payment tool, sign in, and see what the latest information is. They are reissuing checks that basically didn't go out or were bounced back or maybe went to a bank account that was closed. So you still could be receiving your second stimulus check either in the mail or via a debit card in the mail. And I'm actually getting people down below in the comments that are saying they received their direct deposits today and yesterday. So people are still getting their checks in all the different methods. So if you haven't got it yet, let us know down below in the comments. If you've got it recently, let us know also. And just be aware that they could be coming, and you should check every single piece of mail to make sure. If you don't know what it is, just make sure that it's not from the Treasury Department. Also, there's been some indication from Joe Biden at the White House that he will be for the reconciliation card, this one right here, to use that for the basically the third stimulus check package if they can't even get 10 Republicans to vote yes on the next stimulus package. They only need 10 Republicans to vote yes on it in the Senate out of 50, which is only 20% of Republicans to say yes to the next stimulus check package. Joe Biden is now indicating that he would be okay if they have to pass it in that manner. I've been hearing more and more that they will be able to use reconciliation, this card right here, 9 different times over the course of the next 2 years. So this will be the 9th card, this one right here. I told the Senate they cannot have this card back until they get to the absolute last one. So I will be keeping this until they need to use it for a 9th time. But basically, they're going to try to pass any bills that they can with 60 votes, including stimulus checks and stimulus packages, and then further stimulus packages after this. And they're going to try to do it with 60 votes. But if they can't do it with 60 votes, they're going to pass it through the reconciliation rule, where they basically need 50 Democrats in the Senate. And when it's a 50-50 tie, basically 50 yeses and 50 nos, if they don't get a single Republican to say yes, then it's a 50-50 tie, and it goes to a tiebreaker vote, which goes to the vice president, who is Kamala Harris. That equals the 51st vote. If as long as they get 51 votes, which is all the Democrats basically, then they can pass stimulus check packages and stimulus bills basically just right away. So Nancy Pelosi says they are drafting the third stimulus check bill, and they have been now ever since last weekend. So remember, these bills are normally thousands and thousands of pages. The second stimulus check bill was 5,500 pages, which is absolutely insane. And when they introduced the bill, when they actually finalized it, they actually voted on it the exact same day. So AOC, Congresswoman AOC, was flabbergasted at this because she basically said that they're giving us this bill and it's 5,500 pages, and we're expected to vote on it literally 2 or 3 hours later, which is not enough time to read through 5,500 pages. I know I can't read that fast. Let me know if you can. But it'll be interesting to see if they give us this bill and vote on it immediately. I don't think that'll happen again because there was a lot of criticism, and they're also trying to get the 10 Republican votes. But that's what happened last time. Literally the day they finished writing the bill, because it was such an urgent thing to get it done basically before Christmas and before the end of the year last year, is they finished the bill, and as soon as they finished the bill, they literally started voting on it like 2 or 3 hours later. And the kind of strange thing is that's when we got the what we call the pork in the bill, where there was millions and billions of dollars going to other countries, and a lot of people were upset about that. But just to be clear here, that was not in the stimulus bill. They passed a stimulus bill and the omnibus bill, which is the government funding bill, which basically funds the government for 1 year. Those were tied together, which kind of created an urgency to get the stimulus bill done, which was pretty much a good thing because they did get it done, and now they're working on the third one. But that pork that went to other countries was in the government funding bill, but those bills were tied together. Every single year for many, many years, the U.S. government does send aid and send money for different programs in multiple countries across the United States. So this has been going on for decades, and a lot of people are not happy about this. They say that we should be taking care of our own, taking care of America, Americans, and the American economy first before doing stuff like that. The good news is they were now working on the third stimulus check package. People are still literally getting their second stimulus checks literally today. So it has not been that long. But the third stimulus check package is being worked on. It's expected to be introduced any day. and then it's expected to be voted on there shortly thereafter. So we could literally have this bill passed within the next few days, as early as next week, depending on if we get the bill. We get the bill tomorrow, then literally all bets are off, and we could be voting on it within 24 hours or so. When we get that bill, we'll get a lot more details about like the actual checks. Are they going to be larger? If you've been watching this channel, you'll know that they've been pushing to make larger stimulus checks of a full 2,000, not just the $1,400 plus up bill. They're also pushing to have reoccurring checks. They're also pushing to have the child tax credit increased and actually made a monthly stimulus check of $250 to $300 per child sent directly to the parents and direct deposited into their account. So that's $3,000 to $3,600. So I personally am not. I don't think that they're going to increase the checks or have the monthly stimulus checks. What I think is going to happen now. Now let's back up here. First, the push for that, the more people that get on board for that, the better. Okay, because that definitely could happen. And that's what happened with the second stimulus check. It was supposed to be zero. They literally introduced the bill and it was $0. And then the push to add in stimulus checks, they took that money away from the states and cities and gave it to you guys. So the push could make this happen. But I think right now, I'm expecting the checks to be $1,400 for adults, $1,400 for children, and $1,400 for adult dependents at least. That's the largest stimulus check that we've had yet to date for adults, for children, and for adult dependents who didn't even get the last check. So I'm expecting it to be that, but I think the precedence of people pushing now for larger checks and for more checks and for monthly checks, that's a very good sign that they want more money after this. So I'm personally thinking that right now, of course, we know if you've been following this channel, you know that stimulus news can literally change within 24 hours. I'm expecting a $1,400 stimulus checks for everybody, all those three different sets of people. And then I'm expecting another push for another round of stimulus checks. That's where we can see monthly stimulus checks or just another round of $1,200, $1,400, or $2,000 stimulus checks. Monthly stimulus checks will start to come into play as we get more and more support for them. Because as we get more support for them and this pandemic drags on, especially now with the variants of the virus now kind of making cases worse, and we're actually starting to see school and college shutdowns now that have never shut down before, and they're now kind of being forced to. As we see this kind of pandemic linger on, that's when I think that we'll see the larger push for monthly stimulus checks saying, hey, listen, we've already passed 3 stimulus checks. This pandemic is nowhere close to being over. We need to pass a stimulus checks monthly for at least the last leg of this pandemic to get us out of this recession. So that's what I'm expecting. We'll get more details of it when we get the actual third stimulus package, which could be as early as tomorrow. Also, in the morning video, I will have a big update for you guys on mortgage and rental assistance. So make sure you tune in. Remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Easiest way to see the videos, subscribe down below and click the bell icon next to the subscribe button and click all notifications. You'll get notifications for all the videos except for the 11 p.m. video. You just got to tune in on your own on that one. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, where I have a program where I teach people how to do that and replace their 9-to-5 income. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.